me. Well, this is basically Tokusatsu and anime in 2023. This has been a very interesting year when it comes to both Tokusatsu and anime for me. Overall, this year, for anime wise, I've only seen, I'm currently working anyways, 13 anime this year, and I've seen one theatrical release movie. Yes, one. And that one movie was That Time I Recurrence Slime, Scarlet Bond. That was it. That was the only one. I did not get a chance to block a movie just yet, surprisingly. Yeah, I'm like, really? That's the only one you saw this year? Yeah, My Hero never released one this year, and One Piece did not. That was last year. My Hero, last year. So it's something, though, and this also was the very first movie based upon, well, let's just say it was adapted from a light novel series, but it's not has no structure. It's completely original, but it's set. It's canon of the show. My friend Tibia saw it earlier this year. He was confused because he never saw the show. Me, I've seen the show. I love the show. The show was fantastic. I'll talk more about that soon. And these are the anime I covered just this year. And in this particular year, I covered the original Blade. The first series I covered this year was Blade of the Immortal, the original 2008 series. That was the very first one I covered. I mainly picked this one to cover because, number one, it's not very long. And number two, I really wanted to cover an older anime. Excuse me, because it seems like a lot of the time I cover anime nowadays, usually it's like fairly recent, usually about a year or two old. This show, when I covered it this year, was only 15 years old. Now, yes, some of you might be curious. Am I still planning on covering the other Blade World series? I will cover that eventually. Don't worry about that. Though, here's the anime I covered this year aside from that one. Next one I covered was actually an original anime. Yeah, this was actually a complete original anime that started just this year, and that was a series I really enjoyed. And I knew there was going to be done with this one because I've seen the original Trigon series, and of course the Trigon movie, which was Trigon Stampede, which is basically a series that apparently took 10 years to make. Yes. And they're planning a sequel series this one. There's no release date for this one yet, but I really enjoyed Trigon Stampede. I thought it was a really fun series. I thought the animation style was drastically different from the original series. I didn't mind the updates. And is it something, though, the fact that Johnny Bosch is the only guy to play the same character in all three things? He played him in the original show, he played him in the movie, and this show itself. Yeah. It is quite interesting, and it was a show I thoroughly enjoyed reviewing when it came out. It was probably the only show I covered this year where it was actually, I reviewed from start to finish when it aired and when it concluded. Now, Dragon Stampede was original. Now, Blade Runner was based on manga. Now, also, we have the first of two anime I watched this year where there is no dub. Yeah, no dub. The first one was Samurai Harem. I watched it. Now, apparently, the series is on High Dive. Now, yes, this month, I did start watching shows on High Dive because I have a subscription to it. And I wanted to figure out a way to watch, like, what show I was going to watch. And I'll get to the first show I watched on the streaming. This is technically part of that streaming service. But this one I did enjoy reviewing. Yes, I did enjoy this one. I never thought the series was bad per se. Just that the one thing that was kind of weird about the series, like I said before, no dub. I don't know the reason for it. It's particularly quite strange, but it's one of two. Sometimes basically I might get one, but two in the same year, which is something. Now, another reason why that I haven't reviewed that many series this year is because I watched a lot of Tokusatsu stuff. That's the other reason for it. So there you go. Now, this series, the fourth series come this year, was the very first show this year based on a light novel. Excuse me. And fun fact, I actually told One of the voice actors of the show, I'm going to get into this one, she was actually very happy I got into this show. That voice actress being Veronica Taylor. Yeah, she's in the show. Yeah, she's the voice of the last of the girls introduced to the show because it's one of the harem shows I like watching. The one who's the glutton. That's Veronica Taylor's character. She was very happy I got into it, and it was a series I thoroughly enjoyed watching. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about all the anime I watched. The only ones this year I did not watch in Crunchyroll were Blade Immortal, the Samurai Harem, and there was actually 3 of them. The other 2 are, well, basically 11 and 13, but everything else, I'm mostly watching on Crunchyroll. Yeah. I mainly got into this one because I like the title, and I read the premise, and I'm like, wow, this looks interesting. And I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I think the premise was similar to another series this year, but what series I thoroughly enjoyed, and it covered at least about 2 or 3 books. It was a damn good show. Want to check something here first? Let's see. Yeah, there was one show I think I may have covered this year. Or was it last year I covered this one? Yeah, it was last year. My mistake. Yeah, I had to be sure because sometimes basically I think I covered this year, but nope, it was actually last year. Uh, the other anime I covered this year. This one was one that actually was already. This was a weird one with this particular one. Yeah, the plan because here is the strange thing about this one. It was the dub. Oh my gosh, this was so freaking stupid. Now, the release schedule of this one was weird. Like, I didn't read this fully when the dub came out with this one. Like, the plan was like just read the manga, watch the anime, think back to what I was watching. Yeah, basically I stopped watching it, like bench watching after like 2 episodes. I'm thinking, why did the heck do that for? Well, because even the site said dubbed, but no English dub. It was dubbed all the other languages, like it was one for Spanish, there was one for French, there was the Japanese dub, obviously, but no English. And then after episode 6 came out, it took a freaking month off. I'm like, why? And I keep checking every single week. Like, why would you take a month off for? This is the only show I've ever seen where a dub takes, a full month off and then finally resumes and is able to air no problem afterwards. I'm not sure exactly why the dub did take a month off for. I thought it was kind of weird. I kept checking every single week the day it was supposed to come out, but nope, it did not. And there was that. There was also a series that, well, I initially did hear about this one, but I didn't get into it. Now, this is another one where it's based on a light novel, and I did not get a chance to watch it until just after I read the light novels that basically they adapted from, and that was Konosuba! Give explosions to this wonderful world. The amazing prequel series, the Konosuba. And, of course, this was the first show under the new studio. Yes, for some strange reason, this show switched, like, this series switched studios. This I thought was really weird. Because you have Studio D who did the first 2 seasons. And then, for some strange reason, this show, Explosion in This Wonderful World, was also done by the new dub company, Drive. I don't know why. It is quite weird. Yeah, I'm like, why would you change subs? And here's the strange thing, though. The movie that came out in 2017, get this, you're going to love this. The fact that the movie came out, well, actually, I think it was 2018, I think the movie came out, right? It was 2019. This one, for some reason, was not made by the same studio who made. It's not. It's not Studio Dean. Nope. It was JC Staff for some strange reason. And now we got a different studio. Yes, seriously. I do not know the reason for this, but there we go. And there were some returning anime this year, definitely. Let me open up here. Let's see. Here we go. I'll get to returning anime in just a minute, but the other anime I covered this year were one. This actually was first of, like, believe it or not, 4 anime I had the cover where I read the actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's actually 3. Yeah, first of 3 series where the light novels are released here, so I gotta read I gotta read the manga, watch the show. And this first series is The Strongest Sage, Weakest Crest, and it is one of 4 series this year where I covered where Sarah Weinhoff is in the dubcast. Yep, in this one, she voiced a dragon, just like Turbus vs. Dragon Maid, which is awesome. Then there is the Missing Academy, voice of one of the sisters. Sasha, great character. I watched the first, and this was the weird thing. This is one thing I didn't like about the show, was that when it came to the second season of the show, for some strange reason, I call this basically a very immature reason and not a proper reason why we're halfway through the first core of this season. The series put hiatus. The reason? They blame COVID for it. And I'm like, bullcrap. In 2023, that's not a good reason. Like, if some staffers got sick, fine. I mean, I heard this same excuse for the Black Clover movie. The same exact excuse. And guess what that's code for? They're not paying their damn employees. That's why I heard that's code recently this year for, is that there's a pay dispute going on. So let's put the series on hiatus for 3 months and then finally resume it. Yes. I didn't like that at all. I don't blame Crunchyroll for it. Crunchyroll is not at fault for delaying the series. I don't blame them for it. I blame the studio who made it. Moving on. That was a part-timer. Absolute really fun series. First time I see images of this one. Excuse me. It was definitely a series I've wanted to cover for some time. I got a chance to cover. It took a little while. I'd say that probably the second core of the second season took me a lot longer than I thought it would. Yeah, that took me about 2 or 3 weeks to get to that one. The reason being, despite I think it's 13 episodes, I was reading from light novels. Yes, seriously. Where, like, the first season covered 2 novels. Pretty simple. Second season, I didn't know about the second core. I had no idea about the second core. I only knew about the first half of the season. I was, we have 13 more episodes? Okay. Yeah, and get this. The first half, it covered books 3, 4, and 5. And a half, and a 5.5 for 2 episodes. I couldn't find the translation of the damn thing. And second half of the season is basically books 6, 8, and 10. Though in depth the story from book 7, but there you go. That took me a while for that one. Yeah, it took me because so many books to read for that one. That was the only slight problem with it, the fact the second core came completely out of nowhere. And there was that. Then there was one series I started, I think, during this one. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that was a series I'm still reading right now. The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Yes. Where they confirmed season 2 for this one, and we have only 3 episodes left to go. And the other 3 shows I just started just in the past week or two. Actually, 3 more shows. There is Farming Life in Our World, The Aristocrats' World Adventure, and The Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess. Now, this year alone, guess how many series I did a review for where the first singer was light novel? The answer? Only 4 out of 13. Only 4. The Ace Academy, the Konosuba, Miss Steamy Kamen, Devil's Black Number, and The Vexation of a Shut-In Princess. Basically, five series. Not bad. Only 5 series. Nothing really wrong with that at all. Nope. Now, there were several anime they did have in their season this year. Yep. There was the second season for Revolution, which I did enjoy the first half. Did not enjoy the second half of the season, obviously. I kind of wish basically to do a redo of that one. There was the second season of Dota with Nagaro. I thought the series was okay. Both free. This one along with Revolution, these two I actually delayed start watching the show. The main reason why, because I did not read the light novels that these were adapted from. So I read them later and I caught up with the show that for some reason both Free's last episode was delayed for reasons, and I eventually got back and watched it. The only show that came out this year that I did not get a chance to watch, which was Attack on Titan final season. One show that I thought was coming out this year, but never came out. And you're thinking, which one was that? I heard initially it was supposed to be this year, but for some reason it's been moved to next year. And what series is that, you say? It is Our Last Crusade of the Rise in the World. That did not come out this year. Oh no, for some reason that's been delayed to next year. I'm like, really? Yes, really. My only guess is the reason why it was pushed next year, and this is just a theory of why in the world this was pushed. My guess is, well, it's new studio. It's Studio Prelude this season 2, so yeah, that was the only one I didn't get a chance to watch this year. But unlike in the case of Attack on Titan, which I just didn't get a chance to watch it, in the case of this one, it just wasn't released this year. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, still watching it right now, almost done. Second season, first core of Mushoku Tensei Reincarnation. This one wasn't really all that surprised. The fact that there was the second season was going to have 2 cores. I heard about this series 2 years ago when it was announced. Like, okay, got to wait a couple years for a second season. Perfectly fine. Same thing with Jujutsu Kaisen. Just 2 years later, bam, we got a season. And as for the whole thing split into 2 cores, I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no issue with that at all. Excuse me, especially the series I really enjoy. Yep. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I had to use the bathroom. Okay, where was I? Oh, yes. Yeah, there was also second season of Girl for Girlfriend, which I'm still watching right now. Of course, Black Movie, I did not get a chance to see that yet. There was also movies for Sailor Moon was released this year. I just didn't get a chance to watch it, sadly. But some of you might be thinking, what about Attack on Titan final season, the part 3? It's 2 specials, which I have not a chance to watch yet because they're over an hour long. And here's the thing. I have talked to many people about this. Mappa dragging out the final season as long as they did was really stupid. And the reason is because the reason why that the show was stretched and stretched and stretched as far as they could take it, why it took 3 years to complete the adaptation of this series, was because of the negative reception the final chapter got. That is the rumor of the reason why. I don't know if Mappa has stated this much, but that is probably the reason why. If they want to delay the adaptation of that final chapter as much as possible, I'm sure it's probably finished. There's also Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, which I need to watch that eventually. Yes. But before we move on to the Tokusatsu stuff, let's briefly talk about the anime that come out next year. I'm looking forward to watching, which, as far as I can tell, these ones are confirmed. In the case of the very next month, there are 3 anime confirmed next month, and I do have release dates for these shows. Yes, My Shell, Magic and Muscles gets to come out January 6th. And this show, like the case the other 2, gonna wait for the dub. So there's gonna be about a couple weeks where I just review like a couple shows, and that's it. Excuse me, the reason, just wait for dubs. And January 7th, we have the second season of Bands from the Hero Party, which the first season ended 2 years ago. I'm quite happy it's coming next month. But the one show, I think a lot of people are really looking forward to the adaptation of this one. Purely because next year marks 7 years since the last episode aired for the series. And that series being Blue Exorcist. Yep. A series that I am very much looking forward to. Yes, this is basically the Illuminati saga. Yes. But technically, it is the 3rd season. Yep. And that's all the ones premiering just next month. Now, March and February, March, I don't think anything's confirmed. But I'm watching coming those 2 months, so don't worry about those. April. These ones are confirmed to come in April, but I don't have a release date for these one yet. We have second cores for Michiku Tensei Season 2, and the second core for the Mystic Academy. There is a third core of Bleach Daiuzi Blood War. There is the 3rd season of That Time Occurrence of Slime, which this one has been confirmed for April, which is interesting given the fact I heard initially it was supposed to be November of next year. Yeah, but then it was moved up to this month. I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah, I initially heard something was supposed to be November, but I think it was actually something that was actually just a spin-off series. I will eventually review this one. There's also one released this month. Actually, that's one was Visions of Chorus. I will review that one eventually. Don't worry about that. But it seems like April's going to be a packed month. We have that 3rd season. But here's another one for you. The return of a show that has last known animation released also back in 2017. That being the movie The Book of the Atlantic, an excellent movie which I reviewed this a few years ago. And that series is Black Butler. And they're adapting for this particular season the public school arc, which is the next arc just after Book of the Atlantic, which is great. Which I think is like the fourth or fifth most recent arc in the series. And I'm very happy they're adapting this. Why in the world they took 7 years to release this one, I have no idea. In May, only one show is confirmed to come out in May, and that's the show my friend Tiffany and I are very much looking forward to the season. And that's season 7. Yes, season 7, which I've heard is be possibly the final season show. They have not confirmed it yet. That being My Hero Academia, which makes this show the first one I get a chance to do from start to finish for season 7 of any show I've ever reviewed. It is also the longest show I've reviewed that's not One Piece or Case Closed. Because I've been reviewing this show since 2018. I've reviewed this show. So next year, I will review this show for 6 years. And I'm very much looking forward to reviewing this one. There is also, however, 2 more shows confirmed for next year. But we don't have a release date or even a month coming out. But as far as last I heard, they are coming out next year. But no definitive date for them yet. All I know is coming next year. And it's the 3rd season of 2 shows. Konosuba and Re:Zero. Yes, given the fact this last season ended. Oh, how long ago was this? This was let's see, season 2. The last episode, because they split this in 2 quarters for some reason. Not really sure why, but they did. The last episode ended in March of 2021. So when this resumes next year, presuming next year, I don't have a definitive date for that one yet. That means that when this series resumes, it would have been 3 years since the last season. So if you look at all these shows that I'm reviewing, a lot of everything is like 2-3 years, like following year. Re:Zero has only been just 3 years. While and in the case of Konosuba, with the exception of the prequel series, the main series, the last thing animation-wise aired for that one, what comes next year, roughly been 5 years. But I'd say probably the longest one is Blue Exorcist and Black Butler. When I initially heard these 2 were going to get another season, I'm like, I was so happy we're getting another season for these 2 shows. Because they are fantastic, and I love them. And I personally cannot wait to watch them. Alright, so that's all the anime coming out next year. And the anime covered this year. So, Tokusatsu. So, in the case of the shows that cover this year, for Super Sentai, I am currently on my 6th one this year. Excuse me, that being Kakaranger. The first one I started this year with was the 9th one, 9th show, and it was the final season that aired in the 1980s that had left the cover. Plus, it was also the last of the cover under the Showa era. That was the first one. And then we had Gekaranger, a show that I had a lot of fun with. I thought it was a really exciting show. Changing the problem was it was a bit long, but it was fine. Toad Ranger was interesting, though it reminded me a lot. I've never even started this one. 5-Man, I merely jump started. This one was actually initially not supposed to be the very next one. The cover, right after the cover Toad Ranger. But after I saw the preview, I'm like, I had to see this show. And I was correct doing that. Yep. And the last one I covered for the current show is Bokenger. Yes, the show which was adapted to Operation Overdrive. Yep. And currently, of course, covering Cockrange, which I'm almost done with that one. The Kamen series. This one I thought was quite interesting because this year I only covered 4 shows and a few movies. I even saw a Kamen Rider movie in theaters this year. The Kamen movie was Shin Kamen Rider, movie I really enjoyed. But the shows I covered this year were the following: Sky Rider, Super 1, Black, and Black RX. Now, fun fact about Black, this was actually the first show I stopped doing the whole thing of like taking a break after like 25, 26 episodes. I decided to do for this one, I decided to make a stopping point be episode 30. This is so when I get back I can finish up quickly and move to the next show. Black and Black RX, I enjoyed both shows. And I also covered the 3 movies that came out in the 1990s. And this became also the very first Tokusatsu series. So as of currently, this is the first one where I finished up everything that's been released for this thing that's been released on screen in the 20th century. Meta Heroes, sadly, once again, for a second in a row, I only covered 1 series. That was early this year. I just did not get a chance to get to the next one, which the next series I have to cover, Cockaranger, would be a Meta Hero series. So, as of currently, that'll probably be the very first series to cover next year. Yes, that's the way it looks right now. But, and of course, the Meta Hero series was Spaceship Shivan. Yes. And I surprisingly decided to start off the Ultraman series this year. Yeah, I was actually quite surprised I decided to do that one. I have been recommended a few times to start Ultraman. I wasn't really interested, but what got me interested into seeing it was that Ultraman suit actor was going to be a Fanboy Expo. I did kind of see him, but I didn't speak to him. That was the most disappointing thing about it. I didn't know if he speak any word of English. I talked to I think it was his daughter, but I thoroughly enjoyed basically seeing the stuff on his table. The problem was, this is the problem I had with the event, about half the people I wanted to get stuff from basically was cash only. I didn't have a cash on me. That was one thing I didn't like about the event, and I'm not going back to it next year because of that experience, because I like to pay for stuff with a credit card. That is just me. I don't always carry cash on me. But for Ultraman, I just covered just Ultra Q, which seems like a very good place to start for the series. And I also covered Ultraman. Yes, I covered Ultra Q first because basically Ultraman takes place long afterwards. And plus, also one thing nice about Ultra Q is that some monsters, some stuff that happened in that series is referenced in Ultraman, which proved to be a very good idea for me. And you might be asking, Nick, are you going to add another Tokusatsu series next year? Because first couple years ago, it was just Super Sentai. Last year, I added, first it was Kamen Rider, and then I added the Metal Hero series. And Ultraman, am I going to add any more Tokusatsu series to watch this year? Watch next year? The answer is no. There is no additional series being added. None. Excuse me. There is none currently planned. I am sticking to 4. I'm not adding any more to my plate as of right now. There are some... Now, Metal Heroes 1, I understand doing that one because there's not many series, not as many as the other ones, but... And plus, still, we're not publishing any shows right now. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that one, and this is still basically the plan for that one, only cover the first 15 out of 17 series. I don't have any plans to cover the last 2, because those have nothing to do with this, the Metal Heroes franchise at all. Now, here's a bit of a surprise. Out of all the shows I'm currently watching, of all the franchises, guess which one's actually pretty close to me almost done? Super Sentai is almost done. And you're thinking, really? That one's almost done? Yes. Okay, the answer of how many are left to go. After I finish up Kaka Ranger, I have 16 left. Yeah, 16 left. And about half these shows, basically the first 9. And this is the plan. I am hoping to cover these shows, get to like first 9, finish the first 9 for my next Tokusatsu break. And when I come back, my Tokusatsu break next year, I will finish up Sentai. Yes. And you're thinking, okay, so how many left to go for Kamen Rider? Kamen Rider is a little bit more, that one. Kamen Rider has currently got, as of right now, 24. Yep, 24. How many I'm going to watch before the next break? Well, for Kamen Rider, this is currently planned. There's 1, 2. I believe it's just 4. Yep, just 4. Yeah, sadly it's just 4. Yeah, that will allow to at least 20, but Kamen Rider will still be around for a little while, but yes. But this I can confirm. One of the Tokusatsu stuff will be leading the Tokusatsu View slate next year, and that'll definitely be Super Sentai because I have a really good feeling that will be finished up next year. And it'll be the last one I cover bench watching that one. As for the other ones, not sure yet. It depends. But that's gonna be pretty much it to talk about for Tokusatsu Anime in 2023. But you might be also asking, okay, so anything else to look forward to next year? Well, aside from the more anime next year, well, the very first series I can confirm I'm going to cover at the start of next year will be a Metal Hero series. As for after I finish that one, how long it will take to get to the next one, I don't know. But hopefully next year I get to finish up more than one. That is my goal, hopefully, for next year when it comes to Tokusatsu. Do more than one Metal Hero series. Let's hope to God that is like that. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's almost midnight, so I'm going to call it a night here. Okay, next video tomorrow. Bye.